Unleash the power of knowledge and connect with the heartbeat of the African diaspora. Download our African Diaspora News Channel app now on Google Play and Apple App Store. Stay informed with authentic and diverse perspectives, breaking news, and cultural insights. Immerse yourself in a community that celebrates unity, resilience, and progress. Experience the vibrancy of the diaspora at your fingertips. Don't miss out. Empower your perspective today. Search African Diaspora News Channel and join the conversation.
I know you might have already come across this particular story that was making headlines a few weeks ago, but I wanted to add my 2 cents and also to clarify specifics of this particular story because it seems like a few things are being misconstrued. So it's about the exclusion of all 54 African countries from the United States 2025 visa waiver program. What does this mean and why should we even care about it? I'm going to break it all down. My name is Ife Igwe and this is the African Diaspora News Channel. Now, I am particularly averse to the decision by the United States government because most of these African countries that you have excluded from the visa waiver program are countries that you are benefiting from in terms of trade deals. I've spoken about our mineral resources, our natural resources. These are countries that house most of the world's most sought after natural resources and minerals, which you use to develop your economy. Excluding them is crazy work. Now, while I understand that in diplomacy, the principle of reciprocity will be at play, I am really hoping that all African countries also push back and implement policies in response to this particular snub by President Trump. I'm hoping, right? So, for more context, the US visa waiver program allows citizens from specific countries to travel to the United States for tourism or business purposes for up to about 90 days without obtaining a visa. Now, for 2025, 40 countries from Europe, Asia, and parts of the Middle East have been granted this privilege. Notably, none of Africa's 54 countries made the list. None. This isn't a new development, right? African nations have historically been excluded from this program. But it's essential to understand the implications of this continued exclusion. For African travelers, this means they must go through the often lengthy and stringent visa application process to visit the US. Now, high visa rejection rates have been a persistent issue, with US authorities citing concerns over immigration violations, fraud, and security risks as well. Since returning to office, the Trump administration has intensified strict border control measures and mass deportations. You've been seeing the news. Unfortunately, African and Latin American immigrants have been significantly affected by these policies. Now, thousands of undocumented African immigrants in the US have been facing potential deportation under these renewed crackdowns. And I believe this is something that a lot of Americans are in support of. You must obey the immigration laws. So why are African countries continually excluded from the visa waiver program? Several factors come into play. Things like high visa overstay rates. So countries with significant numbers of citizens overstaying their visas are less likely to be granted visa-free access. Right? Then there's the factor of economic instability. Nations facing economic challenges, they may have higher immigration rates. And this raises concerns about potential visa overstays. Then there's diplomatic relations. Weak diplomatic ties between the US and certain African countries can influence visa policies. And then there is the factor of security concerns. Regions with ongoing conflicts or perceived security threats, they may face stricter visa requirements. And the continued exclusion of African nations from the visa waiver program raises questions about the fairness of US immigration policies and the overall state of US-Africa relations. It highlights the need for ongoing dialogue and policy reforms to address these disparities. Well, thanks for joining me today to unpack this important issue. So if you found this video informative, please give it a thumbs up. Share it with your friends and don't forget to subscribe to this channel for more insightful discussions. Let's continue this conversation in the comments What are your thoughts on the US excluding African countries from the visa waiver program? My name is Ife Igwe reporting from Nigeria.